"What are you daydreaming about?" Erin shouted. "I can't believe we have to continue practicing these stupid leg techniques. This is the beast weapons class, not the martial arts class. And Leo said he wouldn't move on until he was satisfied with the performance of every single one of us," she complained, with a slight look of frustration on her face. The two girls continued to train together using the leg techniques, but a slip in Layla's concentration caused her to drop her guard. She wasn't able to lift her knee in time, as how she would usually during practice, and instead, Layla took a full-blown kick from Erin to her side. "Ouch!" Layla exclaimed as she dropped to the floor while gripping her side. "What's wrong? We have practiced that kick so many times. I was sure you would be able to block something like that," Erin said as she walked over and offered her hand to her fallen comrade. Layla lifted her hand to grab Erin's, but the pain on her side hurt even more. Furthermore, she noticed a stinging pain arise every time she breathed. "What the hell? I knew your sword skills were monstrous, but where did you get such strength in your kicks? I think you broke one of my ribs." "Would you stop complaining?" Erin said as she knelt and placed her hand on her friend's side. She then activated her ice ability ever so slightly, causing the muscles around that area to become numb from the cold and also taking the pain away. "Can someone call the guard and take her to the doctor's office?" Leo said. Erin then lifted Layla from the ground, allowing her to use her shoulder for support. "Don't worry, I'll take her. Besides, she needs to walk a little bit on her own. It will only make her stronger," Erin said. The two girls then started to leave the room together. As they were walking, Layla couldn't help but feel useless and pathetic. Other than a blood bank for Quinn, what use did Layla have? She hadn't even been helpful in the fight with the Dalki. If it wasn't for Erin, the two of them would have been dead back then. And Vorden, although a bit messed up in the head, was very powerful. The only one who was even more worthless than her was Peter, and that wasn't much of an achievement. "Would you please stop crying? I didn't mean to hit you that hard. You usually block something like that," Erin said, in an attempt to comfort Layla. Layla didn't even notice, since her thoughts were so muddled that tears were now slowly descending from her eyes. She wiped them away and simply put on a brave smile. "Oh, it's not that. I was just thinking about how useless I am to the team whenever we're in a fight," Layla said. "Well, you're not wrong about that," Erin replied, not realizing how harsh she sounded. Although Erin was right, it still hurt Layla to hear it straight from her mouth. "But you help in other ways. You were the one who thought about that blood bowl, remember? I can't say much, but honestly, if you weren't there to hold me back sometimes, I would have already shoved a few spikes up the boys' backsides." Layla laughed. "Erin, this is kind of a strange question to ask, but are we friends?" "Well, I don't carry everyone I hurt out of the room." Although Erin didn't say it, Layla knew her well enough to know what she was like by now. Back at the training hall, the lesson had just finished for the day. Quinn had managed to work up quite a sweat, all the while going up against Fex. Truth be told, Fex was the only person in the room who he could go against, while merely using a fraction of his power, outside of Leo, of course. When practicing with Layla and Erin, he would always have to hold back his powers slightly, but with Fex, it was different. Now that the lesson was over for the day, students were free to do what they wanted. That's the moment when Quinn noticed Fex, who was looking around the room oddly and was kicking the floor about until he eventually started to speak up. "Hey, I know this is kind of strange to ask after everything that happened between us, but what are you planning to do after this?" Fex asked. Lately, whenever Fex would try to approach people, they would turn away as soon as they saw his watch. It was a strange reaction, but he had finally understood the matter when he saw the mistreatment going on around the school. This caused him to be quite an outcast, yet that wasn't the only problem. He was also incredibly bored. With no one to talk to and nothing to explore, he started to look forward to the training sessions with Quinn. "Me? I was planning to go to the VR gaming room," Quinn replied. "VR gaming room? What's that?" Fex asked, with a little bit of excitement in his eyes. "I can show you if you want. You want to come along?" "Well, I mean, if you want me to come that bad, sure," Fex replied, his anticipation clearly showing through his faux-shy demeanor. The two boys had finished their combat classes for the day and decided that they would head to the VR room together. Fex was standing casually outside in the sun, and Quinn could see it didn't affect him at all. While Quinn had to prepare his trusty umbrella and prop it up before stepping into the sun. It was a strange action, but not too strange that it gathered the attention of others. Earth had gotten hotter over the years, and there were quite a few people who wished to protect their skin with the use of UV umbrellas. On a hot day like today, no one would bat an eye at what Quinn was doing. Seeing this, Fex looked at Quinn oddly. He had only seen a vampire use such things in really old books. He couldn't help but giggle at the thought that Quinn looked like an old man. "What are you doing with that old thing?" Fex asked. "Do you not have a ring?" He lifted his hand, showing the small ring. Quinn was now close enough to see that it did look like the one in his shop. After using his inspection skill, it confirmed the fact that it was the very same ring. Quinn didn't know how to reply to Fex. The system had informed him that one of these rings were the basics of vampires, and it seemed like if he was to come up with something, it would reveal him even sooner. But while Quinn was trying to come up with a lie, Fex was the one who once again came up with his explanation. "Oh, I see now," Fex said. "You're one of those vampires raised here on Earth, aren't you? Trained to blend in and report back? I guess that's why you didn't go through the formal initiation and don't have one of these." When Fex said those words, something had caught his attention. The fact that Fex said one of the vampires on Earth. Did this mean that vampires came from another planet? Were vampires a type of alien too? "System, do you have an answer for this?" Quinn asked. "I'm afraid I'm just as confused as you are. As far as I know, vampires have always existed on Earth alongside humans. Although, I'm afraid I don't know how much time has passed since your family has had the book, so a lot could have changed by then," the system replied. Looking at Fex, it seemed like he was showing off his ring quite proudly, and that's when Quinn remembered the requirements to get the ring. It was to kill 10 Deathbats, an advanced-type creature. This brought back memories for Quinn of how hard it was for him to defeat an intermediate creature. He couldn't imagine how hard an advanced-tier creature was, and the many more classes above them. "Was the initiation hard?" Quinn asked. Fex started to laugh nervously at this question. "Was it hard? Of course it was hard. Yet I was one of the youngest vampires to ever complete it." As he said this, he lifted his chest a bit to make himself feel a little bigger. The vampire continued. "You see, the initiation is getting the materials for the ring itself. A young vampire must go out and slay 10 Deathbats. Once you earn this ring, you are no longer required to go through regular school training with all the rest. But it seems I just jumped from one training pool into another," Fex finished, a little bit depressed. Although Quinn didn't know why, he could tell Fex was slightly nervous when answering the question. It helped that he was the type that was easy to read what they were feeling, because they didn't hide the emotions on their face at all. However, this conversation reminded Quinn about how he had to be cautious around Fex. Although the two of them seemed to be on friendly terms, he still couldn't trust him, and didn't know what his goal here at the school was. The fact that he managed to kill 10 advanced-tier beasts was a big reminder of the difference between the two of their strengths. As they continued to walk to the VR center, Fex looked at his ring and felt a little guilty. He had lied to Quinn just now. He hadn't earned the ring like he said he did. Fex was hoping to become one of the youngest vampires to ever complete the initiation.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.